Hey YouTube, wrong way again. Start my timer. Keep this about a 13-14 minute video. It's been a while since I've put up anything on YouTube. Been busy doing yard work, housework. No, not housework, but getting stuff ready for winter. November here in Wyoming can get quite cold. I'm wrong way. This is Wrong Ways Wyoming, and this is sort of a how-to and a how-to pick. Behind the camera that I'm looking at right now, back behind you, is where I have my little artwork, painting and palette knife and oil paints and acrylics and everything. Was doing that. I had to move that in the house because in the winter I don't have much of a heater out here. A little bit to keep it from freezing, but not enough to leave my paints and other stuff out here. So in the fall, I shift to other things. Years ago I mentioned this scrap metal art. I saw it on YouTube, mentioned it to my daughter. My daughter and my son-in-law went out then, bought me a MIG welder, and I was taught to weld with an arc welder when I was a kid and haven't welded since up until a few years ago. And just to show a few of the pieces when they got it, scrap metal art, a little bird here, the head will move, you can have it up like so, put it down there. Part of this video will be showing you the different things you can use to make these scrap metal art pieces. This is a saw blade, little nuts. This is a little trailer hitch ball to a hole saw. And there's a farrier will take these pliers, farrier pliers, to help trim the horse's feet. Welded together, becomes then a bird. It's an abstract bird. It's up to you what you make of it. This one, hammerhead, a hook for the face, nuts for the eyes. These are jigsaw, sawzall blades. The bottom just a counterweight that moves. Moved into this part, so I welded that to the bottom of the hammer. Makes it for the body. Little pair of pliers there where birds will have the little crest down on there. Very fun to make. This is one of my first pieces. There again, hook, dumbbell for the back. Got some hinges here, little flowers down. Got a gear around the neck of the bird, plumage. Nuts for the eyes, and another hook. Like I said, the interesting thing about this is one of my first pieces came out actually pretty good. The body part, I believe, is an old priest's incense holder. And I left it to where it could be taken on and off. They'd swing, as they walk down, they'd be swinging the incense. And I believe that's what this is. So you can put pot puree up in there, whatever you wanted to do. But moving along to try to keep it to the 15-minute video. On the how-to, I came up with a tank, devastated. A neighbor had a terrible thing and his shop burned down, and it's an old compressor tank from like '68. And I've been collecting all this metal to do these little birds, and I haven't really done anything for a while on the scrap metal artwork. So I wasn't sure what to do. Well, when this was sitting there in the burnt down garage and he told me I could have it, first I was thinking like a minion or a bird or something, using this as his body setting up. And son-in-law says, well, wait, you've always been thinking about building a train. I was thinking about building a scrap metal train about this big. Come with this tank then, so I'm going to explain. Go down. I'm not a professional welder. I have a welder and I can weld. I can't build a jet or a car with the welds. I wouldn't trust driving down the road. But I can get it welded to here. And online, I have a Eastwood welder. If you go Lincoln, whatever welder you decide to get, if you're going to do this, you can go onto YouTube. YouTube is marvelous, of course. Go to their website, find out what their YouTube ones are. Go to YouTube, type in the brand. They have videos that will show you how to weld, the safety of it, the operation of the machine, and the actual welding. You need to learn that from there. You don't have to have an actual person right next to you showing you. You can actually learn it from YouTube. Like say my son-in-law is a certified welder. He helps me in those really hard spots. But he does say it's all on YouTube if you need it. After you weld a piece, I take a hammer, I bap it. You hit it, it stays there, and then you grind it up and you clean it. It's a good weld. So moving along, I'm going to explain my train. I'm going to show today the different parts that I've cleaned up, got the rust off of them, and got them to the point of, because this is going to be for sale, I got it to the point of if the person wants to let it continue to, that buys it, wants to let it continue to rust, they could, or if they wanted to paint it with a Krylon or a Rust-Oleum, spray paint, it's prepped enough just to go ahead and paint. They wouldn't have to go in and wire brush, so it's at that point. But I'm explaining different parts. So this part, safety. This part is the bottom of a lawnmower, riding lawnmower, that I took and I tore it all apart. And then doing that, I got the gears, pulleys, all kinds of different things to use for a train also. This is just some square stock that then I'm going to take and I'm going to weld to the tank itself with this right up against the back. This is going to be the cab of the train. The side of the same mower, I'm going to take, they'd be down like that. Those will be going down in there. Clamps will be moved after the weld. These will be moved over to the side here, like some fender flares. That's going to be the side of the cab. Hood of one of the other mowers I have back here. That's going to be moved on here, probably this way. Set up here above the cab, above here. So that'll take care of the cab. Now the front of the trains, they could have just push or coupler, or they could have a real aggressive cattle guard, which then if anything's on the tracks as they're coming by, you can push it through. We all remember those Western movies where the outlaws, they're going to rob the train robbers, and they put some trees in front of it. Actually, a lot of these are just pushing trees right off the tracks. So for the front of it, I'm going to take, I've got a steering wheel from one of them tractors. I'll put that right on there, have that welded. This piece then will come down like so and be attached in there, and I'm going to have it back with flat shovel blades and then round shovel blades on the side, making it more rigid, plus the looks will be better. Different things you could use on anything. Motorcycle chains, got a lot. For the side, of the trains, they always have all the workings, the pistons, the gears, all that up there. So, an example, this is from an old drill press. This is gears and runner rear end of a truck or car or something like that, I believe. But that'll fit in there. Take and put that on there, weld your spot together, weld that to the side. Instead of having short pieces on there, you've now made it a long piece. And the same thing here, threaded rod, an old pump. Put them together, put them on the side. Now I got a longer pieces to go down. So that's just the different stuff as you're going around and go scrap yards, grandma's house, wherever. Find the scrap metal. Nuts, bolts, old sockets. Those could be eyes on a bird, be a nose on a bird. You're an artist. Let your imagination go as far as the arts. My lovely lady Dan Simone, she donated what's going to be the back wheels to it. These are farm implements along the line of a disc. They have rod going through, and as the tractor's pulling them, these are turning and they're going in and tearing up the soil, aerating or whatever you want to think. But those are going to be the back wheels. The old mini tillers. Use those for the front wheels. Right back over here I have some old sides of the bed, the steel sides, 7 foot long, nice and rusted. Went through with the wire brush, cleaned them up. Those are going to be the train tracks. Now, this is just a real big magnet. It won't be up on here when this is done, but I've got it here so I can put my stack. The stack goes, this is a thick piece of pipe. It's marvelous. I'll be able to cope a little bit here, grind in, get a really good weld of the pipe. I'm not really dress it up some. I got some old barn hinges. I got out of an old fallen down barn here somewhere in Wyoming years ago. I will weld that there. Got 2 of them, one on the other side to dress up the top. It's an old Christmas tree stand. Christmas tree will go down in there. And that'll be the stack for that. Now, like I already said, you know, I'm not a professional welder, so if you're interested in doing something like this, and if you like metalwork and welding, and you love art, and you love taking a bunch of different pieces and making something out of it, out of your imagination, this is a marvelous one to do. So I'm motivating you to do that. Get the instruction online, or if you can, community college, value, whatever, you know, if you want to go into the trade of welding and really learn how to weld, it's fun and it is profitable if you are a professional welder. Now, other things you could use for my train, it's an old axle from a hitch of an old train. And this is upside in the hitch, and when they, I guess, got a bar that comes down and pulls this comes up or drops and lets those two come apart. And it does swivel there. So on the cab, I'll take this part and I'm going to weld it on the underside to where this could be open like that in the back of the cab. But if whoever buys this decides they want to have another car attached to it to make it start being a longer train, this could come over and it could hitch in and actually be a hitch. But not only for a train, if you find something like this, you take your nuts, had them here, take 2 of those, 1 on each side. Can't quite get it there, but you got what I'm saying. 1 on each side. Those could be the eyes. This could be the mouth. Weld a body here, even if you got to grind some off. You weld a body, something really interesting here. But you make it to where it could be up or it could be down. It could be down eating. You could even have something welded to your platform there that it looks like it's actually eating, or it's got its head up. That's your imagination, because you're artists. All children are artists until somebody tells them they're not. And that's going to go for adults too. Art is for... It's my timer. So you got about half a minute to wrap this down. I do that because of the timing on YouTube. If I go over 15 minutes, you got to have a little different account type thing, and I just haven't went there yet. So, I hope this helps some. Rooster's Creations, I'll mention that down in the description. He's marvelous on going and seeing what he's using. He doesn't talk much in it, but he's showing you what he's using to weld his different creations and that, and they're marvelous. It's a really good starting spot on YouTube, because in your other suggestions that come up, we'll talk on other scrap metal art. And like I said, if you get a Lincoln or an Eastwood welder, whatever welder you get, they'll have YouTube videos on showing you how to use them. Okay, people, this sort of come up because I didn't go look at any of my YouTube accounts for a while, 2-3 weeks, whatever. Went in there and saw I got some new subscribers. I really appreciate that. I'm just me, and this is what I mess around with, and if it's a little interesting to others, I'd like it to be motivational to where you go get some scrap metal and weld it together. If not, get your paintbrush out, your sketch pad. It's about art, it's about Wyoming, it's about being kind. On being kind in these troubled times we're in. If we're all kind to each other, you know, we'll make it through. Okay, thank you guys.